Right, 62 days. It's been 62 days since Hrithik Roshan spoke to Republic TV's editor-in-chief Ranaut Goswami in a tell-all interview that lasted over 2 hours on Nation Wants to Know. 62 days after that, Team Kangana is now hitting back. It's a sensational twist to the Hrithik-Kangana war. Kangana Ranaut's legal counsel, Rizwan Siddiqui, is now coming out with a point-by-point rebuttal of all the statements that were made by Hrithik Roshan. And in fact, Rizwan Siddiqui is joining us live here in our Republic TV studios, and time now to listen to him and ask him exactly what are the points of disagreement are. Rizwan Siddiqui, I just want to understand there are many points of rebuttal. You've made a video about it as well. People can log on to republicworld.com and read more about the story. The story is already there on the website. But for now, tell us, what were the big discrepancies, according to you, in the version that Hrithik told or no?
See, there are quite a few discrepancies. Not only discrepancies, there are also blatant lies and misrepresentations. The biggest discrepancy was, like for example, Mr. Hrithik Roshan first claimed that he had not met my client for a period of almost about a year after October 2012 incident, where the fact remains that he attended my client's birthday party, she attended her, his father's birthday party. These are points, these are things where evidences are available on the internet. However, despite this fact, he blatantly lied. Also, he mentioned that he called my client for his personal private birthday party celebration in the year 2011 January only because she was acting in his films, whereas the fact remains that she was not acting in any of his films during that time. Also, besides this, there are other things which ought to be considered. Like for example, the most important thing is that how come the imposter got to know about the meeting with between my client and Mr. Hrithik Roshan, which happened in May 2014. And suddenly after this May 2014, the imposter just disappears. And he does not try to communicate with my client at all. And not only that...
Right. Rizwan, at this point, I'm going to stop you. Your video has a rebuttal on many, many more grounds, over 10 discrepancies in Hrithik's version, according to you. But I'm going to ask you this one particular thing. Hrithik's version was that he was not in Europe in December 2013, and you're saying that Hrithik Roshan was in London in December 2013, and that he was misleading by showing the wrong pages of the passport.
Yes. If you look at the interviews very, very carefully, you'll see that Mr. Hrithik Roshan, despite being probed, he did not make a mention of his visit to London in the month of December 2013. He only mentions about his visit to the US. Also, in an interview given to another channel, he conveniently shows the passport pages, but the pages are only relevant and are only to do with January 2015 and not January 2014 or December 2013. These are things that I've observed, amongst other things there.
Right, and also you are questioning the fact that Hrithik said he has no idea how to, block emails on MacBook.
Well, it was really shocking because for a novice like me, I'm not too familiar with all these things. But I could find out that in a video uploaded in the year 2008, they have clearly shown how to block emails in a video which is as old as a 2008 video. And after that, there was a thread which was posted on Apple website in the month of August 2014, which also showed how emails can be blocked if somebody wants to block emails. Despite this, Mr. Hrithik Roshan claims to have the best team, who comes out with forensic reports and does other things, but they do not know how to block emails.
Right, and you're also saying that when Hrithik says the police helped in retrieving the emails, you're saying that it wasn't the police but Hrithik's private team that helped in retrieving the emails.
If you recollect, Mr. Hrithik Roshan had made a mention, a lot of places that, cyber forensic reports are available and cyber forensic report proves that he is innocent. Whereas the cyber forensic report was paid for by Mr. Hrithik Roshan himself. Besides that, also in the interview given by Mr. Hrithik Roshan, he very clearly claims that it was the police. Then on probing further, on being asked 2-3 times, then he says, no, it was not the police, it was his private team. So, he's not coming out very clean, the way it's supposed to be.
Hrithik's version was that Rangoli said that he must file a complaint against imposter, and then your version is that Rangoli maintains that there was no imposter. Can you elaborate on that? You were just telling us about the fact that this entire imposter thing is something, according to you, is made up by Hrithik Roshan.
See, I'll tell you what, if you look at the facts very carefully, there are 2-3 things that needs to be really observed very carefully. First thing is that if there was really an imposter, the imposter shouldn't have disappeared after May 2014 meeting between Mr. Hrithik Roshan and my client, Ms. Kangana Ranaut. Secondly, how does Mr. Hrithik Roshan know that my client's hacked account, which Mr. Hrithik Roshan himself has been accused of hacking, the last email from the hacked account is supposed to come on the 11th of December 2014, and immediately the next day, the 12th of December 2014, Mr. Hrithik Roshan goes ahead and files a false police complaint. And he files a police complaint, and that also without informing my client, who was a concerned party. Also, if you look at the entire thing very, very carefully, if there was really an imposter, that means that imposter should have been up to some mischief. Where is the mischief? There's no mischief. There was no malified intentions on the part of the imposter. He's not done any damage if there was really an imposter.
Right, and also you're also questioning the fact that Hrithik has made this version sound like there was no interaction between the two of them when there were no film shoots. But there was, not just on one occasion, but on multiple occasions.
Well, if you look at Mr. Hrithik Roshan's own statements and his own, if you observe the video very carefully, I have not taken portions of those videos so that it doesn't become too long. But Mr. Hrithik Roshan, on various portions of that video, claims that he spoke to my client about their speech problems, about other issues, then about, the way she landed on her feet. She was very good in her stunts, and she went, that Mr. Hrithik Roshan went on praising her all the time, and to the skies, he mentions. So, these conversations are happening. That means one-to-one. So he cannot claim that he was not communicating with my client at all. So these communications were definitely not in groups. It was not a group chat.
At this point, Rizwan Siddiqui, I have to ask you something. See, you're talking about the time in 2014 when the police complaint was filed. You're questioning the timing of the filing of the original police complaint itself. But this entire story is coming to perspective again simply because it's a fresh legal action that has been initiated by Hrithik Roshan. It's a fresh complaint that's been filed in this year.
See, if you look at the dates very carefully, Mr. Hrithik Roshan ought to have filed a proper FIR under section 154 of Criminal Procedure Code and not a loose complaint, and that also by misleading the police, and especially if he claims that he knew the commissioner. But if you look at the sequence of events, you'll see very clearly that Mr. Hrithik Roshan misled the police. He did not tell my client. He filed a false police complaint, and only after I sent him a notice in the year 2016 March, after that, 6 days after that, he goes and files a proper police complaint. So it is not my duty to ask him to, file a police complaint. That was in his own interest. The imposter was, supposed to be Mr. Hrithik Roshan. So it was in his own interest that he should go ahead and file a police complaint.
At this stage, I also have to ask you, so far, from what we understand at least, is that Team Kangana Ranaut, has not given neither her mobile nor her laptop for forensic investigation. Why so?
See, these are the claims made by Mr. Hrithik Roshan. The police have never made these kind of claims, and this is something which is being spread by Mr. Hrithik Roshan, that my client was never cooperating with the police. If that was so, then the police would have written to my client, and then this would have brought on record by the police department, not by Mr. Hrithik Roshan.
So you're saying that Team Kangana is willing to provide all kinds of cooperation, and more importantly, the phone and the laptops, which are the big question, the points of question raised by Hrithik Roshan in the interview to Arnab as well, that they are ready for investigation?
See, my client has always been ready. As a matter of fact, in the year 2014, when Mr. Hrithik Roshan did mention about the imposter thing, and they were discussing the imposter thing, that was the right time when Mr. Hrithik Roshan should have swung into action. He never did that. And after that, belatedly, even when he filed the complaint, my client has always cooperated. And my client has always mentioned in any event that there's no imposter. Because in the first place, the email, my client claims very specifically that the email was given by Mr. Hrithik Roshan himself, and my client is not a child to send, private pictures and videos to any unknown person without authenticating the credentials of the person.
At this stage, Rizwan Siddiqui, what is the plan of action as far as Team Kangana is concerned? You have come out with this video. It's a 46-minute video, ladies and gentlemen, that is there available on republicworld.com as well. It's a 46-minute video that you have painstakingly put together with point-by-point rebuttal for every single statement made by Hrithik Roshan. Now, what is your plan of action from here on?
See, my client has been extremely busy with her assignments. She does not really have the time, effort or energies to get into this particular kind of mudslinging. So through this particular video, we are closing the entire topic here itself. We are not taking this any further after this. And this was just to give our side of the story after Mr. Hrithik Roshan's interview, and we have done that. I don't think we'll be dragging this any further after this, unless, of course, we are provoked.
Yes, but you're saying that so far, the legal action initiated by Hrithik Roshan, be it the forensic testing, there is the police involved right now. You're saying that all of that is being done on his end. And if anything comes to light in that, and whatever proof he has, what happens to all of that? Will you be able to rebut it in court?
Of course. We are fully prepared. We don't have any problems at all. See, it's a very, very simple case. Mr. Hrithik Roshan, due to his own acts of commissions and omissions, has landed in a particular position now, in the, whatever word that you want to use now. So it is not our case at all. We already know, my client already knows that there is no imposter. Mr. Hrithik Roshan is trying to, prove that there's an imposter, though belatedly after 2 years, when he himself knows that after such a long time, he should have not bothered to find out about an imposter after 2 years.
Rizwan Siddiqui, this has been a scandal that has rocked Bollywood and rocked the nation. Because it's two individuals who were disruptions in their own way when Hrithik Roshan made his debut, or when Kangana Ranaut won the National Award for Queen. These are two individuals who've been locked in a battle for years right now. And you got Hrithik Roshan coming to Republic TV and clearing the air for the first time in many, many, many years. And the rebuttal from you is coming out here on Republic as well. Do you see that there is a resolution to this in the near future, or do you think that it's up to Mr. Hrithik Roshan for a peaceful resolution of this?
See, we said whatever we had to say. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned earlier, my client is extremely busy. She doesn't want to get into these kind of mudslinging methods, and she has moved on, and we don't want to look back and talk about it. It's up to Mr. Hrithik Roshan how he wants to close this topic now.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, hashtag Kangana hits back is the big Bollywood news break here this Friday on Republic TV. Rizwan Siddiqui from Team Kangana Ranaut's legal counsel over here. Thank you, Rizwan, for joining us here. Rizwan Siddiqui, with a 46-minute video, has given a point-by-point rebuttal of Hrithik Roshan's version to Arnab on Nation Wants to Know.